It's a new year, and now is the best time to review your insurance policies. With a helpful customer service team here to serve you in Alabama and over in Mississippi for all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs, call the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha Insurance to create a customized plan to protect your family's home and autos. You can stop by his office at 3428 McFarland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or simply call 205-462-8192, or call the number on your screen right there. And remember, with Alpha Insurance, the more you protect it, the more you save. Reach out to the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha today for all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. Jeff Bagwell of Honey Hole Fisheries right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama is a professional biologist who specializes in lake management. If you are interested in helping build the pond or lake of your dreams, or if you need help deciding if property you own is a good location to build a pond, you can contact Jeff Bagwell at 205-799-0192. Once again, that is Jeff Bagwell and Honey Hole Fisheries at 205-799-0192. Contact him today and let him help you build the lake or pond of your dreams, or also stock your pond or lake with fish that you most desperately need. How would you like to live where you love in the state of Alabama? Whether it is your upsizing, downsizing, retiring at the beach, or relocating for your job, then you are going to want to contact Celeste Hagler, owner of First Class Real Estate South Home Group, with brokers in Tuscaloosa, Orange Beach, and Huntsville. They can help you with the buying, selling, and investment needs throughout the state of Alabama. You can contact Celeste at 205-861-5698. Once again, that is 205-861-5698, and schedule a consultation to discuss your real estate goals anywhere across the state of Alabama. To start off the Stingray Show this morning, I've got to ask all of you, is it cold enough for you? It is bitterly cold across the entire area of the United States except the Florida Peninsula. And so let me just go ahead and tell you right now, in downtown Memphis, where Heath is near, it is 20 degrees right now. That is absolutely frigid. In Oxford, Mississippi, unfortunately, it is not much warmer. It is 21 degrees. And here, where we are located in Tuscaloosa, it is currently 19 degrees. It is absolutely frigid out there. But if you do like for the warmer air, down there in Coral Springs, which is right outside of Miami, they are at a warm, toasty 54 degrees. So yes, it is cold everywhere, and hopefully everybody is doing well on this Tuesday morning. We have a great show for you guys upcoming, as this, of course, is the road to WrestleMania. And so today we are going to be talking about the Royal Rumble with Kane. And as you guys will remember, Kane had a big history in the Royal Rumble, and we will get to that here very soon. But guys, right now, where are y'all checking in from? I see we have some people joining, and we would like to know from you where you are located and coming into us from this morning. And also, if you guys have any questions for WWE Hall of Famer Kane, go on ahead and get those ready and drop those into the comment section, and we will definitely get those ready for you guys, as we will ask those when Kane joins us in about 20 minutes from now. So once again, if you have any questions for Kane, go ahead and lock those in right now. And also let us know where you are coming from this morning, as Kane is going to join us in about 20 minutes from now at 9 a.m. to talk all things Royal Rumble and the road to Wrestlemania, as The Undertaker liked to say back in the day. And hopefully everybody is ready to go. And Heath, I got to ask you, man, or is it cold enough for you at 20 degrees up there in Memphis?
Well, they say the wind chill is going to be negative 15 today, so it's measurable. So I'm not happy about it, but the kids are having fun being out of school. So,
Yes.
but yeah, it is, and yeah, I'm just cabin fever, man. We did get out last night. They told us stay in unless it's an absolute emergency. What did we do? We went down like 4 miles down the road to go see my best friend from since fourth grade. He's the only guy I know that's got more kids than me. So we went and took Sam, played cards, watched TV, cooked. Had a good time, man. It was good to get out of the house. I did not get in bed until like 12:30, 12:45 last night, so I'm a little tired. But guess what? I got plenty of time to rest today.
All right. Heath, let's go ahead and knock out the national day of today and the national history of today. Today is National Plan for Vacation Day.
Brother, I've got cabin fever. I've been thinking about warm weather this entire week. I have made, not only have I made a list of places I want to go, I've made itineraries of what I want to do. So, Boat Drinks is probably my second favorite Jimmy Buffett song. One of my faves.
Yeah.
I got to go where it's warm. This is insane, man. I'm kind of done with this cold weather. But Steven, where would you go today? If you go anywhere in the world, I don't care if it's Mount Rushmore, I don't care if it's Seattle, I don't care if it's the beautiful beaches of Laguna or La Jolla, California, or wherever. If you had a chance to go anywhere you wanted to go today, where would you go?
I know this is kind of boring, but
Well, then don't be boring.
I would go to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, because I've never been there. I really do want to go. And one of the things that I've been dying to see is the Titanic Museum up there, because I do like the Titanic and I've heard great things about the museum up there. So, definitely, if I could go anywhere today, it would either be Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, and then coming in at three would be Orlando back to Universal Studios.
I would lean toward more Orlando in this weather, brother.
Yeah,
Oh man, I La Jolla is beautiful. I haven't been to La Jolla in a while, but I want to go somewhere I've never been.
right.
Um,
I wouldn't mind Vegas either.
there you go, Steven. There you go. Vegas is fun. Vegas is a
And
beautiful.
especially, I would like to see the Sphere, because I hear a lot of great things about the shows at the Sphere. And especially, they just talked about, I saw a video on TikTok not too long ago of them playing The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, and that thing looked absolutely incredible because the screen was all the way around you. It looked insane.
It did look insane. That did look fun. I'm not on TikTok, but I saw what you're talking about,
Yeah,
and that did look a lot of fun.
yeah.
I I don't know, man. I've been to the Florida Keys, but I've only stayed in Key West. I might pick a place like Marathon or something. I'd just like to go somewhere where it's really warm right now
Yeah.
and just relax.
I
Just
think
relax.
I tell you what, too. The Bahamas sound pretty good about right now.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. British Virgin Islands,
Yep,
Jamaica, anywhere in the Caribbean sounds
yep,
excellent. I've always wanted to
yep.
go to St. Croix. I heard Jimmy Buffett talk about St. Croix. I know that used to be like the Christmas spot for years
Hmm.
for a lot of musicians and celebrities back through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I don't know about today, but I've heard nothing but excellent things about St. Croix. And it's not commercialized, it's just a nice, beautiful beach town.
All right, Heath, food alert, food alert, food alert. Here we go. Today is January the 27th. It is national, and this one is going to touch on what you like to eat. You are a chocoholic. Today is National Chocolate Cake Day.
Man, nothing wrong with that. I don't know anyone who doesn't like chocolate cake.
Nope.
And if you do, you're weird. So I'll
Now,
say it to your face.
I will tell you, I don't like devil's food cake. That is the only chocolate cake I don't like.
Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Oh, John, yes. St. Thomas and St. John. There
Yes.
you go.
Yes.
John, tell us your favorite thing about St. Thomas and St. John,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. If you could describe it in one sentence for both, what would you say about St. Thomas and what would you say about St. John? Because, yeah, I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
totally there. I see Justin Prince coming in
Yep.
from Coleman, Alabama.
Yep. He's a friend of mine.
There you go.
Yep. He's a good friend of mine. He does weather spotting and is a part of a group called Stormtrooper Network. And I've been friends with them for about a decade now. So good people, man.
I bet. I bet. Well, you don't hang out with bad people, Stephen. So if you hang out with them, I would assume they're good people.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're
All
welcome.
right, Heath, let's go ahead and talk about the birthdays for today. And we actually have two today. Both of them are musicians. Can you tell me who was born on January the 27th of 1756, who was an Austrian composer who created over 600 compositions?
Bach, I have no idea. I'm trying to think of my music appreciation classes back in the day.
Mozart.
Oh, there you go. He would have been in the list that I would guess. I couldn't tell you
Dude,
their songs, but yeah, Mozart. I'll say
six.
this: I do listen to classical music. Like if I'm reading or if I'm studying for something, I will put on that very lightly in the background. I learned that little trick in college. There's some scientific study done, and if you have light music, no words in it, not loud, but play it very light, it really helps you study it. I tried it. It did. I've been doing it since then.
Right. Now, Heath, in 1756, can you imagine putting together over 600 compositions?
I
That's
can't,
incredible.
I can't imagine putting 600 anything together.
I know.
I'm sure I have coached. Let me do the math real quick. No, probably I have. Well, maybe I have. Um, oh yeah, I've easily have broken that.
Yeah.
I've coached in over eight, you know, well over 600 games. I would probably guess I'm probably around 800 to 900 games
Right.
that I've coached in. So, wow, that's a lot. I never thought of it like that.
And
So,
Heath, let me also say this. This is the sad part about Mozart. Of those 600, very little of his work was published during his lifetime. That's sad.
that is sad. I can't remember what classical artist it was, composer. Um, I think it was Amadeus. Don't mark me on that. But he's buried in an unmarked grave, like died a
Mhm.
poor man,
Yeah.
and is buried in an unmarked grave. That just kind of made me sad. His music lives on. He was excellent, and he died a poor man, buried in an unmarked grave. That's sad.
Yeah. Heath, it is also the birthday of an American country singer who was born in 1968. And I'm going to tell you one of his famous songs, and I want to see if you can guess it. Time Marches On.
Is that John? No, it's not John Michael Montgomery. It's Marches. That's not Who is it?
Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Tracy Lawrence is his birthday today. Another one of his great songs includes Sticks and Stones.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, fun stuff. What else you got for us? It was Mozart.
Yep.
Mozart was buried, and I guess Mozart was buried in an unmarked grave. So there you go. I remember something from music appreciation class at Northwest Community College where Hugh Freeze went, and a lot of NFL superstars went there back in the day. But yeah, fun stuff.
All right. Heath, can you tell me when we go to the national history of today? And this ties into the SEC and the South. Can you tell me what university was founded and becomes the first state chartered public university in the United States in 1785?
I know Georgia was started in the 1700s. Yeah, am I on to that?
The
This is why you
University
don't
of
play Trivial
Georgia.
Pursuit with me.
The University of Georgia becomes the first state chartered public university in the United States when it opened today in 1785.
A super heavy majority of the SEC schools opened in the 1800s. I think there's like one or two that started in the 1900s. I want to say like Missouri was like 1901 or 1902. I could be completely wrong on that.
Right.
But I do know that Georgia started in the 1700s because I remember seeing that years ago, and I was like, "Wow, really? You guys have been around that long?" I was like, "You're flirting with Ivy League schools here."
Yep. Hey,
That catch you off guard? You were still reading.
I was, yes. All right. Can you tell me who is considered the greatest athlete of the first half of the 20th century? Because he played professional football, professional baseball, boxing, wrestling, gymnastics, swimming, hockey, basketball, and track.
Jesse Owens comes to mind, but I wouldn't guess Jesse Owens. Um,
He has an award named after him, and no, it's not the Heisman.
I would have guessed Jim Brown because I know he played a lot of. He played football. He did track. He did lacrosse. Jim Brown did. They said Jim Brown could have gone professional in anything. Um, I don't know. Let's just go randomly with Jim Thorpe.
Ding, 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 ding,
And
ding.
this is why you don't play Trivial Pursuit with me.
Now, on this day in 1912, U.S. athlete Jim Thorpe loses his gold medal in the Winter Olympics. It was discovered that he had been paid up to $25 a week for playing baseball in '09 and in 10. So that disqualified him from the strictly amateur Olympics. There was also speculation that he was revoked because he is of his Native American heritage. However, his medals were restored to him in 1982.
In 82, they stripped him in 10.
In 1912, and then they restored him in 82.
Was he even alive when they restored him?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Good Lord. Stephen, better late than never. I give you that. But sometimes, man, like I'll pick on I'll pick on Cooperstown, the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They make all these crazy rules and they box themselves in. And we talked about this on the show yesterday when the one thing that good came out of COVID is it cut through a lot of red tape about stuff. And they're like, hey, yeah, usually we have to run it through this and do that. And we got to make it this. We got to vote on it. And then it was just like, yeah, that sounds good. Do it. I mean, that's what happened. I know you can't do that with everything, but you took that away from that man. He was probably gone from us for many years.
Yes.
Before those medals were restored, and I mean, his kids might have been too old to remember some of the stories. The grandkids probably like, oh, that's neat, and they probably went on about their day. I mean, that's just. I wonder why it took them 70 years to restore those medals. That's insane.
All right, when we move to 1956, can you tell me what song is released and becomes the first million seller in the history of music?
They sold 1 million copies, or it made $1 million.
A million seller. So it sold 1 million copies.
It's the first one to sell 1 million. What year was it?
1956.
Man, I'm gonna have to go with Elvis.
Heartbreak Hotel.
There you go.
RCA record RCA Records, releases Elvis's single Heartbreak Hotel, his first million seller on this day in 56.
That's insane, man. You know, Steven, here's a fun question for you, and feel free to chime in, audience. There's young Elvis, who was like Britney Spears, Debbie Gibson, like, a teeny bopper. And then there was Fat Elvis, who was about the music. There wasn't young Elvis and old Elvis. It wasn't skinny Elvis and fat Elvis. It was young Elvis and fat Elvis. I know those two don't go together, but there's young Elvis, who was the teeny bopper, and a lot of people swear up and down that they like the young Elvis because, he made the movies, and, those movies were terrible, by the way. Even Elvis was complaining about his own movies. He wanted to be a real actor, and they kept putting him in musicals, and he was getting mad about it. But young Elvis, Heartbreak Hotel, Teddy Bear, Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah.
Fat Elvis, on the other hand, that's like Live from Hawaii, Live from Madison Square Garden, the special where he's wearing the black leather suit. It was all about the music then. I am a huge Fat Elvis fan. I love some Fat Elvis.
Yeah.
So, K-Bug's with me. K-Bug's with me.
Fat.
K-Bug loves some Fat Elvis. I'm telling you, man. Don't get me wrong. Skinny Elvis was great. Skinny Elvis was fun. Skinny Elvis had a lot of memories, made a lot of memories for people, and sold 1 million records with Heartbreak Hotel.
Yes.
First one to ever do that. But Fat Elvis, man. He gave us Kentucky Rain and the Ghetto. Memories. Fat Elvis gave us some great songs, man.
Yes. All right, Heath, we have got to go to the real show. We will finish up the rest of these when we get to the post show, but our guest is backstage, who is about to join us. I'm going to run our sponsorship advertising. I'm going to open the show, and we're going to come back, and we're going to get to the nuts and bolts of the Stingray Show.
Let's do it.
This is going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do your brisket blend. We'll do your chuck blend. We'll do your sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. That's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show. The road to Wrestlemania begins on January the 31st with the Royal Rumble over in Saudi Arabia. We're about to be joined by WWE Hall of Famer and WWE Royal Rumble legend who held multiple significant records in the match. WWE Hall of Famer Kane holds the record for the most total appearances of 20. His best finish in the Royal Rumble was the runner-up in 2001, and his total career eliminations include 46 individuals. Kane, the Big Red Machine, joins us on this edition of the Stingray Show to do a preview of the Royal Rumble that is this weekend to officially kick off the road to WrestleMania.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Look out, you're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. You know, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, look, no.
Hey, Stingray, here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good. It's kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah. But then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, with the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
And with that, I want to welcome you inside the Royal Rumble preview show. And our guest this morning that we are about to bring on in 2001 had the most eliminations in one match at 11. And also in that match, he lasted 53 minutes and was the last man eliminated by the eventual winner of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome to the Stingray Show the man, the legend, known as the Big Red Machine and the monster himself, Kane. Kane, how are things with you this morning, my friend?
Hey, good morning. How are y'all doing?
Man, doing fantastic, and I'm really glad that you were able to join us this morning.
I'm going to frame up. There we go. I think that's better. Thank you so very much. You guys get any of the weather?
No. Now Heath did over in the Memphis area, but me down here, all we got was heavy rain.
Yeah, it's miserable here, brother.
Yeah, I imagine so. I know West and Middle Tennessee got it pretty good. We kind of skipped or dodged a bullet. We really didn't get a whole lot. It's going to be really cold this week, but one thing I'd like to say about that is our road crews and the people who clean up after these storms, the linemen as well, from the utilities, they work really hard and put themselves in often dangerous situations. We're telling everybody else not to drive, and my guys are out in these big salt trucks, trying to get the roads clear. And same with the utility workers and the emergency personnel and all that. So just want to thank them for everything that they do, and their efforts do not go unnoticed.
Mayor Jacobs, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask you that just as a fun question. What's the biggest headache, and what is the funniest complaint you have gotten from somebody that complains about the snow or whatever? Like, I mean, do you get something crazy like, can you make it stop snowing? Why did you cut down that old tree that fell over? I'm sure you hear the crazy of the crazies.
Yeah, sometimes it does feel like people think that we can control the weather. Obviously, we can't. And then, people, they don't know what to do. They'll call us about stuff that, we can't do anything on someone's private property. Obviously, we're not going to go in and clean up people's lots and stuff like that. I mean, that's just, actually it's illegal. So, we can't do it anyway. But people don't know, and they just figure, hey, you guys can go out. Oh, you're doing this. Can you maybe cut that tree across my driveway? It's like, no, sorry, it's on your property. You have to cut your own tree. Sorry about that. So, but I get it. Again, people just, they don't understand sometimes, policies and laws and things like that.
And I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, you and your wife were in the insurance business at one time, or might still be. do you just freak out when bad weather comes? Like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah, she's not in insurance anymore. Neither am I. She does real estate now. Tell you what, it's more so now in this role because, we're responsible for things like cleaning off the streets and just a myriad of other stuff that happens in situations like this. Fortunately, our people are very experienced and they're very good. My senior director of engineering public works is a guy named Jim Snowden. And Jim has a better track record of predicting the weather than any meteorologist. As far as, a lot of times we're supposed to get snow, and Jim's like, I don't think so on this one. And then like this one, he was pretty nervous about it. But really, that's his job, is trying to figure out what to do in these events. I mean, it costs a lot of money, say, to brine the roads if we think it's going to snow, and then we have to make the decision. Well, if it's going to rain first, the brine doesn't do any good because it just washes off. When we had the big event, January 2024. For some reason, Knox County, we dodged both this time. We did not dodge that one. We got almost a foot of snow, and it just stayed cold all week, and it was just a nightmare trying to clean it up. We spent $750,000 on just material salt. Otherwise, I don't think that includes overtime for the people and all that. So, these events cost a lot of money to clean up, and it takes a lot of resources and a lot of effort.
I never thought about this, and don't worry, everyone listening, we're not going to talk city politics or things, but where do you guys buy your salt from? I just thought of that question when you mentioned that.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's just providers, that's what they do. Just like everything else, the salt's gone up quite a bit. I think it's $135 a ton now. Yeah, but the thing is, like, we'll keep, and we're Knox County. We get snow, but it's not like some other places, obviously, around the country, which really get a lot of snow. But coming into this storm, we had 5,000 tons of salt on hand. So if you think about it, that's over $600,000 of salt. That we're ready to deploy. But we'll look at different vendors and those sort of things. This time we actually had an issue, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too much, but it's kind of interesting, that one of the dams is broken or something. So the barges coming through, we couldn't get it from the usual provider because they bring it on barges. So we had to get it from someplace else. And actually that changed the composition of the salt somewhat, and that's caused some issues because it was gunking up our brine machine, which mixes with water. So these things you don't think about. Right. Oh my gosh, it's like, oh no, the brine machine is clogged up, and the guys got to get out there and fix that, which means that we're not on the road spreading the brine. So wow, not interesting from when you're on the outside. Very interesting and sometimes very nerve-wracking when you're on the inside.
So, Kane, let's get to the Royal Rumble and your history in the WWE. This weekend, the Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi Arabia, and that got me to thinking, during your time in the WWE, where were some incredible places that you look back on and like, wow, I went there and wrestled?
That's a great question. I'm going to ask one back to you first. Is this the first time that the Royal Rumble has been outside of the United States, or at least North America?
I think so, yes.
I haven't looked at that. I haven't thought about that. I'm not a big enough buff to answer that, but I would only guess like Toronto or somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I can't remember if we did it in Canada or not. But with these events like this, obviously one of the issues, and with what they're doing in Saudi and some other places now, it's changed a little bit, but it was just the logistics and production, of getting everything there and getting everything set up and those sort of things. And also the time change, frankly. You don't want to be overseas and it's, you're going on at 1 o'clock in the morning for the live audience to hit the 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, for the pay-per-view audience you would back here. I think that's changed somewhat since the WWE's audience is so global now, and with all their technology and their delivery through Netflix and their app and so forth. But I got to see some incredible things when I was in WWE. I got to go to the Taj Mahal, spent some time in Australia, which is a beautiful place. You know, spent a lot of time in Europe, went to Japan many times, South Africa as well. I hit every continent except for Antarctica. You know,
Okay.
down in South America as well. We even went to China and Russia, but the only places we didn't go were North Korea and Iran, which places we don't want to go anyway. You know, so it was really neat being able to see all those things and meet so many different people. And what I found is people around the world are just people, you know, and we often, you know, get divided by whatever, you know, the geopolitics of what currently is the situation. But nevertheless, it always amazes me that if you're to sit down with the average person, we speak a different language, have a different culture, but in the end, we're not that far apart.
Yes.
I got a couple of questions for you to follow up on that. I know in college football, it used to be like this. And I think you've been around where you might have remembered these old days of this. And I wanted to see if it applies to wrestling. But I know if you left your time zone in college football, you kept your same clock. They told everyone, don't change your watches, don't change anything. We're keeping our time. So if you were University of Miami and you were going to go play Cal, you know, out on the West Coast, you kept your Eastern time zone on your watch, and everything. Breakfast is at this time, team meetings this time, we get on the bus at this time. What was it like in wrestling? Did you used to keep the same time like East Coast where you know headquarters was, or did you always change in your watch?
You always changing your watch and going with local time, because that's just how everything was scheduled. Obviously, it was difficult for us though sometimes because we would travel so much. The most intense travel I probably ever had is we flew to Dubai, and first night we had off, then did a show in Dubai, did another show in Dubai. After that show, we flew to India on basically a red eye. We're in India at the hotel for a couple hours, did the show there, went back to the hotel to shower, then flew back to the US. So we covered more time zones in like 3 or 4 days than some folks do, frankly, in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And that could be a real challenge because by the time you get back to the States, I mean, you're just completely out of it as far as, you know, where you are, what time it is, you know, just trying, I mean, jet lag to the max and just really trying cognitively to just keep going as best you could. So that could be a challenge in itself.
You know, Jimmy Buffett used to say this. He used to say he hated going to Australia because he always felt like he lost a day of his life.
Yeah.
You leave on this day and you go back. He said, but I get that day when I come back.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he said, you know, you live in the same day for about 30-something, 40-something hours, depending on when you leave. So did you ever feel that way? Like, man, I left on Monday. I'm arriving on Wednesday. And, you know, but you leave on Friday and you get home. It's like, man, it's been Friday for 2.5 days now. Did you ever have those feelings?
Not really. You know, frankly, since I didn't have time to think about it like that. And, you know, you're just, I wish overall that I had taken a little more time to appreciate my time in WWE because it was truly exceptional. But what you have to remember is, I mean, we're doing a show every night and it's in a different place. So our main concern is just getting there, getting the show, doing the next show, putting on a quality product. You know, so a lot of the things, and people be like, well, you've seen a lot of stuff. Oh, no, I've been a lot of places and I've driven by a lot of stuff. But, you know, it's not like, and I could never shift gears to where I could get out of work mode and kind of into touristy mode. So when I did go see things, it was, you know, bam, bam, we just got to get there and get back because we got stuff to do. So I probably never really had time to think about it like that.
Well, Stephen, I know you got a question. I got to interrupt since we're on geographical fun stuff. So all the fun places that you've seen and you didn't really get to experience, what's a place or two that you really want to go back and do and take your wife or family or whatever? Where are a couple of places you'd like to go?
Yeah, the Maritimes in Canada, Charlottetown, which was, I believe, the first capital of Canada, and they're like, when you think of old beachy towns with the boardwalk and all that, that's them. Australia is awesome. It's a beautiful place. Like to go back to Hawaii like everybody does. Maui is one of the most beautiful places I've been in my entire life. And then I'm a history buff myself, so I'd love to be able to go back to Europe and spend a little time there, and explore everything that they have to offer from a historical perspective.
Well, you got to do that before you become governor. That's all I'll mention about politics today.
All right, thanks.
So, Mayor Jacobs and Kane, I do want to ask you, during your entire time with WWE, did you ever perform in the country of Saudi Arabia?
I did numerous times, actually. And it was pretty amazing to see the evolution there. When we first went, women weren't allowed to go to the shows. The Saudis, have somewhat repressive culture when it comes to women's rights, as we all know. But by the last show, you actually had women working as ushers. I think women were allowed to drive. Obviously, we had, the women performing there as well. Those sound like things to us, that's no big deal and it should have happened years ago. Okay. But, just to be able to see that progression was really cool. And one of the other things, I'll never forget, we were doing a show there, and the night before they had like a party for the sponsors and stuff like that. And this family comes up, and their son, who is 4 or 5 years old, is dressed like the Undertaker. And he was a Saudi prince. Now, keep in mind, the royal family in Saudi Arabia it's not just a couple people, it's thousands and thousands of people. But nevertheless, I thought to myself, man, how cool is that? We're over here in Saudi Arabia, of all places, and this kid is dressed like the Undertaker, and as weird as it sounds, it almost makes you feel like a bit of a cultural ambassador. That you can say, hey, so I was talking about before, hey, we share something in common. We have a lot of stuff that is different, but we have this in common. And that's a place, that we can start as human beings.
Right.
Wow.
So, Kane, I do want to ask you, now there was one over-the-top battle royal that I want to discuss with you. It was actually at WrestleMania in 2016. There was a standoff and a stare down between Shaq and the Big Show, and Demon Kane stepped in and tried to chokeslam both Shaq and the Big Show to start that match. Talk about that whole situation and how all that came about.
Yeah. So bit off a little more than I could chew with that one. There's two really big guys.
Yeah.
So back up a couple days, and everybody in that match, we're kind of kicking around stuff, and Shaq shows up. Shaq's a huge WWE fan, right? And I'm talking to him, and one of the producers for the match, Shaq's kind of looking at me like, okay. One of the producers for the match is like, hey, yeah, Glenn, when he gets out there, he look completely different, have a mask, and Shaq's like, oh my God, you're Kane? And I'm like, yeah. And he literally grabs me in a bear hug and picks me up off the ground. And I'm like, dude, I'm a grown man. Put me down right now. He's huge guy. But it was really cool. Anytime you get to interact with someone like that, a big time celebrity is really cool, and lends credibility to what you're doing as well. So that was a great moment, and a good moment for Big Show too. And I got to get my jab in here with Paul. I love the fact that he had to look up to someone for a second. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Oh, great stuff. Great stuff. Glenn Jacobs is our guest today. You might know him as Kane from the WWE. Glenn, looking back at all the Royal Rumbles, which one stands out to you? Which one's your personal favorite and why?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I'm gonna say actually and this was actually WrestleMania. This is not a Royal Rumble pay-per-view, but it was the one in Chicago. Was it WrestleMania 2 or WrestleMania 3 when they did the simulcast and had Atlantic City, Chicago, and Los Angeles? And in Chicago, you had like all the Bears came out, and you had William Perry, and I forget, I think Big John Studd cheated. And, John Studd got eliminated. He's standing on the floor, goes to shake Williams' hand, and the Fridge. And Fridge, being a novice at wrestling, doesn't quite get it and goes to shake his hand, and John Studd pulled him over the top rope. That was a great one. The one with the one where I came in second with Austin, for me personally, so much of that match was built around me, but there were so many cool moments, like, Honky Tonk Man and hitting him in the head with the guitar, all that sort of stuff. It's hard to say. There have been so many great matches over the years, and obviously this is super important for me. I've never been into battle rings, just cause it's not something that, as a fan, that I love. Royal Rumble's completely different for a lot of people. This is their favorite match and show of the year.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out, this kicks off WrestleMania season. I mean, everything that happens in the Rumble now is setting the table for a few months now for WrestleMania. So it's hugely important on a number of different levels.
Now, Kane, if you would, talk about that match in 2001 where you stayed in the match over 53 minutes and were the runner-up. How difficult is that for a wrestler to stay engaged in a match for over 53 minutes?
It's not only the time, but it's also the nature of that match.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people in it, in the end, you have 30 people involved somewhere or another. So I forget what number I came out. It was in the low single digits, right? Probably 6 or 7, 8, something like that. I can't remember when I came out. I had to remember the whole match. I had to keep up with what was going on, not only what I was doing, but what everybody else is doing.
Right.
Because in the Royal Rumble, you're cued off of what happens with other folks. So if you don't, you almost have to be, everybody has to be a bit of a quarterback and a bit of a general. I think it was the first Royal Rumble that I was in as a different character, one we don't talk about. And I believe it's Fresno, California. And there's a bit of a mess up. Someone got eliminated that wasn't supposed to be eliminated, and they were like one of the last 4. So here I am, and I just started, and all of a sudden I'm in there with Shawn Michaels, and Shawn's trying to get the whole thing back on track to get to the finish that they needed to get to, right? So it's stressful, not only physically, obviously, just keeping all that, going for that period of time, but also mentally of just, this is where we're at. Something just happened that wasn't supposed to happen. How do we get the match back to where it needs to go in the end?
Yes.
And the beauty and the art of WWE, I've had this happen in other major events. For example, in the first Elimination Chamber, my pod opened up when it wasn't supposed to, which completely threw off the entire match. But folks afterwards are like, what are you talking about? I didn't even notice. And that's the beauty of WWE, is when you have really good wrestlers, really good performers, stuff happens that, we knew that was a mess up, but the audience never even knows it. Sometimes it's even better that it happened that way.
Wow.
Kane, I do have to ask you another issue that I saw that was really funny, and I actually did tweet it at you. When you were the tag team champions with the Big Show, there was a time on a live performance where you came out and you wanted to do the fire in the 4 corners of the ring, and you did your whole thing like this, and then the pyrotechnics did not go off. How do you keep your composure when that happens?
I didn't always keep my composure. They just shot really good, good camera shots. No, man, that's just something that happens.
Right.
All you can do is just try to play it off as best as you can. Sometimes, seriously with that, there's a safety issue. Obviously, they didn't want people in the corners when you're doing those flame projectors because they're really hot and it can be dangerous. And other times, we actually would take advantage of it, and Kane would be really mad, or Kane's losing his powers or something like that. So yeah, just again, that was one of those things. It's just kind of however you want to play it, and that's the art of pro wrestling. Is when that stuff happens, how can you take advantage of it so that no one realizes, oh my gosh, that was a complete screw up.
Wow. Kate, a couple of fun questions, wrestling questions for you. You've been a friend of the show. You've been on with us here like a half a dozen times or whatever it might be. And I asked you a while back during WrestleMania, how far out do you know that, the main eventer is going to win, how they're doing all this? And you said it could be a couple of days, it could be months ahead. It differs. It all differs. Same thing with the Royal Rumble. Do the final four guys know roughly when do they know they're going to be the final four, and when they start mapping that out? Is it something they work on for months and months and months, or is it something they just kind of throw together here in a couple of weeks and they try to figure it out?
Probably both again.
Okay.
If the storyline is you're going to WrestleMania, and you have to win the Rumble to get the shot, obviously many times you'll know that well ahead of time. But sometimes you also don't know till day of. And those also will change, obviously if someone gets hurt, or something else happens to where, the storyline changes. But just like I was talking about in ring, being able to adapt when stuff happens, that's the same with storylines as well, or two, what might happen is like with Daniel Bryan, and you see that he's just catching fire with the audience, and you have to take advantage of that. You have to, use that. So there are so many different variables involved there that everyone's going to be different and everyone's going to be unique.
Yes.
Wow.
So, Kane, if you would give us a preview of
you're going to ask that.
Well,
you guys give your preview first, because you're probably more experts at this point than I am. So let me hear what you think, Stingray.
Man, I have no idea. It's so up in the air right
That's
now.
That's my answer too.
And there's even talks of Jericho potentially coming back. So who
that
knows?
was going to be one of my questions, and I'm going to throw that question at you real quick. Is my favorite thing about the Rumble is when you bring back the old guys or guys that have been out for a while. Do you guys get just?
We don't call them old guys.
Do you know they're coming?
Don't call them old guys. They're legends. Legends, not old guys. Thank you very much. But no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Do we know they're coming?
Do you know they're coming, or are you guys excited? Are you ready to hear the pop from the crowd? Like, I wonder what this is going to do.
Yeah, it's again, it varies. Sometimes, we don't even know until we just have like X on our sheet of who's entering the ring. And the reason for that is because they don't want it leaked, which unfortunately has happened. Remember one year we had our big meeting with everybody about the Rumble, and literally, at the end of the meeting, and this never happens, like so-and-so is going to win and we'll get back with them. So afterwards I'm talking to the agent. I'm like, they're not going to win because y'all never announce who's going to win at that. And he's like, well, we're trying to basically throw a curveball into all these folks that, unfortunately, some of the guys would get on their phone or get on their email and shoot it to whoever, and out there with the newsletters and stuff. So obviously that becomes an issue if you really want to have someone be a surprise. So it varies, but it is cool. I can remember a few years ago, Booker was in it. I came out. I think I was announced though. But when you do get those, Cena made his return one year. He had a torn pec and came back in the Rumble. I think he won it. That was in Madison Square Garden. And just when you can get those unexpected moments like that, and the audience goes wild, and it's just super cool to be part of that, even if you're just in the ring watching.
You guys ever have any fun, like when it's X on the list and you don't know who it is, and you happen to both be laying there? Do you ever get to say, man, it's good to see you? I was like, I didn't know you were coming back. Do you ever get to have a quick second?
Oh, yeah. Especially after the match. Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool, yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
Who was one guy that you were excited, a legend that kind of came back that you didn't know, and you're out there like, oh wow, and you know, because you
So,
get to smile because you're under the mask, so you can pull
yeah, I
a
believe
smile off.
it would have been '96, and I think it was a Royal Rumble, Madison Square Garden. Maybe it wasn't a Rumble, maybe it was just a Battle Royal, but nevertheless, and this was like always. This always ended up being me. You know, I'd always eliminate like Honky Tonk Man, or and the crowd's all happy because so and so just came out. Well, thanks, Kane. You just got rid of him. It was Roddy Piper and Jimmy Snuka. And they're having their moment, and guess who interrupts and throws them both out? So but it was pretty cool because you get to eliminate Snuka and Piper, which is pretty awesome moment. But unfortunately, the fans didn't think so, but that's what it was supposed to have done. So
that's right. Well, you get the fun part because if I'm not mistaken, you have eliminated more people in the Rumble than anybody. Is that still correct?
I have. Last I checked, Stingray, is that true?
Yeah.
Am I still the record holder?
46 people.
Yeah.
Wow. Who's second, Steven? Did you know?
I think it's Sean. It might be.
Really?
I might be Sean. I think. Yeah. I know he's up. Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane, man.
That is.
Yeah, it's rare company. That's for sure.
Glenn, I here I'll tell the secret of my age. I turned 50 here recently. I grew up in the Memphis area. I grew up watching Memphis wrestling. Do you guys that come from the Memphis area, is there a bond there? I know there's a lot of traveling and this and that, but I always heard these stories about folks in Memphis not getting their full pay and this and that. There's a lot of stories about Jarrett and Lawler and this and that, and paying guys and whatever. But was there ever a thing like, oh yeah, we worked Ohio Valley together? Oh, okay, well we worked Memphis together. Is there any camaraderie from one of the old territories that stuck closer together?
Not really. I think when you would first get there, these people from wherever, and I knew some folks in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, that this kind of gravitated to, obviously, because of familiarity. But as far as, we all at some point have crossed paths. So, knew each other from wherever. The one thing I'll say about Memphis is Mr. Jarrett and Jerry Lawler, they were always good to me. I kind of started there a little bit, back in the early 90s. But it was the last of the old territories, that and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, but Memphis more so, I believe. Unfortunately, that's all gone now, and a lot of folks coming up through the business will never know the good and the bad of the territories, and just how much different that was than what the business looks like now.
Wow.
So, Kane, if you would, we just had a major WWE superstar and legend retire, John Cena. Talk about his legacy in wrestling and how he ultimately changed the sport.
Yeah, so John is one of the greatest of all times, and when I say that, I'm talking like one of the 3 or 4. Okay. I hate the Mount Rushmore question because mine kind of varies depending on my mood, because there's just been so many great performers over the years. But Cena's right up there with Hogan and Flair and Austin as just literally the face of the industry. And the difference with John, though, is that was true for 20 years, 2 decades. No one's ever done anything like that. To just be the standard bearer for company, that's just unheard of. So I put John as one of the greatest of all time. I think he's actually underrated, because I don't think many folks understand how good he was and what he meant. I mean, he was, after the Attitude Era and kind of at the end of the Attitude Era on, he has been WWE. So he had an amazing career, and John's a good guy. He's always really cordial to me. We got along very well, very professional, did business, if he helped elevate people. And sometimes in that role, your job is to be the man, and other times it's to help other people get a step up. So you're building opponents. And John understood that and was very good at it. I mean, he has an absolute passion for WWE. So I'm glad that I'm glad to have known him and worked with him all his years. And I'm glad that his career turned out like it did, and just wish him the best in everything he does, because he really does deserve it.
And Kane, a quick follow-up to that. What are some of your fondest memories of being with John Cena there in the ring in the WWE?
Yeah, we were in Moscow, and it was my birthday, and it was a 6-man tag. It was John, Daniel Bryan, and me, and it might have been against Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. I can't remember who our opponents were, but it's my birthday. And at the end of the match, it was just ridiculous. John and Daniel are going back and forth, singing, making me wear Russian hats, all that. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So, and at one point, apparently, Daniel told me to close my eyes. They're going to go give me a surprise. And so I did, going along with it. And then they went to the back, and John asked Daniel, "What are we going to do?" And Daniel's like, "Oh, we're going to leave him out there." You can't leave him out. So thanks to John Cena, I did not spend time in Moscow. So that was a lot of fun, and I probably won my freedom.
Glenn, I'm glad you brought that up. I recently saw something on my phone. I think it was Instagram, and JBL's been on our show probably as many times as you have. He's been a great friend of the show, and he actually invited us to a fundraiser in Memphis me and Stephen went to, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. But I heard him tell this joke. Well, it was a prank. And he said he was a young guy, been with the company for a little bit. They were out at dinner, and he said this, the bill comes in. He goes, "Hey, I'll get that." And he said, "I didn't have that much money." And he said, Taker, kind of pulled me to the side and just said, "Hey, let me get that." He goes, No, I got it. And he's like, Taker was trying to be nice. And like, no, he said, let me go on and get this one. You get the next one. He goes, "No, I got it. I got it, Taker. I want to do this." And so Taker kind of pulled him to the side, and JBL tells him, he goes, "I'm putting this on Michael PSA's room. I'm charging his room for this. I'm not paying for it." He said, "I found out what room he's in." And so he charged it to his room, and he said like a day or two later, they're playing golf, and PS comes out there on a golf cart he's yelling at him, "You think you come at me? You come at the free bird?" and all that. And he said everybody was laughing and had a great laugh about it. A great joke. What's a great joke that you pulled? Because Dr. Andy Gillenton, who was my professor at Mississippi State, my academic advisor, said you were the funniest guy in the locker room, and said you were absolutely hilarious, and everyone loved you, and you were just cracking jokes all the time. So I got a feeling you might have pulled a prank or two that you might. I think we would all like to hear. So what's something funny that you could share with us?
I actually never really did any of those. And now you're putting me on the spot, and I can't think of anything good.
How about this? What's a prank that someone did that was so funny that you love hearing the story or telling it?
It was actually Owen Hart was master of the rib, and there's a story. I forget where we were, but oh gosh. There's a couple different ones with Owen. One was with Big Van Vader, and Owen calls up to his room, and he's like, hey, is this Mr. White? Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm down here with my kids, and we really like to get an autograph. And Leon's like, okay, when I come down through, be happy to. He's like, no, man, I got to go to work, man. Can you come down here? You need to sign this autograph. I told you I'd be down in an hour or so, and I'm ready to go show. And then no one's like, dude, I pay your bills. You need to get down here, and you need to sign this. So then, of course, Leon comes running down and there was nobody in the lobby except for Owen, who was hiding in the corner laughing. Another time he got his dad. I think Owen, I think it was Billy Robinson that Owen was imitating. Billy Robinson was a great, a great wrestler over in Japan, and I guess had a bit of a tough guy rivalry with Owen's dad. Stu Hart. So he calls his dad, and he's like, Stu, this is, so and so, and they're talking, and Stu thinks he really is. Again, I think it's Billy Robinson. And then Owen's finally like, Stu, I think I could have taken you. It's like, Stu's like, oh, no way. He's like, oh, yeah, I'd have taken you. I'd have stretched you and made you squeal like a little girl. And apparently they just start going back and forth. And then all of a sudden, Stu stops and he's like, is this Owen? It's like, yeah. He's like, you got me, kid. Yeah, wow. But Owen was a lot better at that than I was, for sure.
That's fun.
Mayor Jacobs, any final words about the Royal Rumble this weekend, or any hype that you could give our listeners and our watchers about this Royal Rumble pay-per-view?
It will be a great show. Obviously, as we said, this is opening the season of WrestleMania, so everybody will be on their A game. The Royal Rumble match itself, both of them, the men's and women's, you'll see surprises. You'll see all sorts of stuff going on. And it won't only be setting up the main events at WrestleMania, but it'll either be kicking off, finishing, or furthering some storylines as well throughout the company. So it's just an important event on so many different levels. As I said earlier, I'm not big into battle royals, but I do love the Royal Rumble because it's just different. It's always, it kind of went from a fancy battle royal now to where it's this amazing show that sets up so many things. So it really is, this is basically, if you're to put it in sports terms, this is your divisional championship going into setting up this, whatever the big championship is.
So, Mayor Jacobs and Kane, as we walk out the door, on this day back in 1993, we lost a legend in the WWE. He is billed as the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. Would you please talk about his legacy and how he forever changed the landscape of professional wrestling?
Yeah, Andre was amazing. When people ask me who I would like to have wrestled that I never did, it's him. He passed away before I really got into the business. I never had the opportunity to meet him. He was an anomaly. There'll never be another one like him. I mean, especially in his early years, he was incredibly athletic for some of that size. And he was like Big Show, except even bigger than Paul. And at that time too, because of the nature of the business, Andre was just a draw. He was a novelty. He would go different places. Obviously, Vince McMahon Sr. took really good care of him, but he would go to different territories, so you didn't get to see him very often. And I think that made him even larger than his already larger than life stature and persona. And just along with Hogan, he kind of defined and kicked off that rock and wrestling era. A little different because I always thought of Andre as the good guy, being a turns to heel against Hogan. But he was kind of Hogan's Joker, Lex Luthor, or Joe Frazier, right? Every hero needs a villain in order for people to gravitate to the story, and that's what Andre became in that instance. But yeah, just one of the kind, and there will never be another like him.
Wow. And Kane, we do have one viewer question, and it comes from Twitter, and they would like to know any hints if Mayor Jacobs will surprise us for the 2026 Royal Rumble.
Nope, that now, never say never. and there's still a week or whatever left. Not even a week, I guess, at this point. But I have no plans on being there. I'm going to watch it at home just like everybody else.
Gotcha.
Mayor Jacob, a couple of quick questions I want to ask before we leave. I asked Eric Bischoff when he was on our show a couple of years ago, who's one person that you've come across, you met, whether it be another celebrity or a politician or whoever, but someone that you met and you were surprised they were a wrestling fan and a big wrestling fan? Who is someone that you ran into? Because you told that great story about Shaq picking you up in the ring and hugging you. But who is somebody that you came across like, wow, they're a big fan?
Yeah. I was backstage at the Anaheim Pond. This has been many, many years ago. And there's a dude sitting on a chair, right? And he's just a civilian. It wasn't security or anything. I look over and he stands up and I'm like, that's Nicolas Cage. And, and he's like, hey man, can I get a picture of you and my son? And I'm like, you're Nicolas Cage. He's like, yeah, we're big fans, Then another time, Jericho actually calls me and he's like, hey, Paul Stanley. I'm like from Kiss. He's like, yeah, man, his kid's a big fan. He's going to be at the Staples Center, this weekend. I was wondering if they could meet you. I'm like, I guess, so it's neat to see that crossover, especially now, man, like Jelly Roll, and the fact that he's like a huge WWE fan, but doing all this incredible stuff. And I didn't even know that until, I've seen him on WWE program. And then I got to talk to him a while back. Just all these folks that, are fans themselves. I'll never forget Dutch Mantell talking about Andy Kaufman. And, when Kaufman was there doing the very famous storyline with Lawler, and how Kaufman literally was intimidated by the wrestlers.
Right.
Because, kind of what he did with the stand-up comedy and everything, that's what he saw wrestling as, is this huge improv. And he was just in awe of these guys who frankly were not nearly as famous as he was, So it is kind of cool, just to see that crossover a lot of times.
And Kane, there is one more viewer question that comes in from YouTube, and they want to ask, who is the stiffest wrestler Kane ever fought?
A lot of people would probably say that Kane was the stiffest wrestler that they ever fought. So, everybody has a different style, and that's just something you have to adapt to. And sometimes it wasn't even who's the stiffest. It's just, who had the move set, which was most likely to be very impactful.
Yeah.
Nothing you could do about that. But the thing was, I just is what it is. I played college football, so I didn't mind the contact. Some guys really liked it, and went out of their way to just essentially get into a football skirmish switch out there. I was not on that side of the things either. But just whatever way you wanted to go, that's part of being adaptable, I guess.
Mayor Jacobs, this will be my last question for you, but I've got 4 children. I got 2 younger ones, and I always am amazed at what they pick up on and who they like. My daughter, she loves Dusty Rhodes. Dusty had passed long before she ever was born, but she just became infatuated with him. My son is a big fan of you. He had to make a turkey at school, and they could make it any way they wanted it, and this and that. And the year before, he made a Captain America turkey. This past year, he made a Kane turkey. Did the mask and colored the feathers red and black. But when you see that from the younger generation, you come here, Jack. Say hi real quick. Hello. There you go.
Hey, buddy. What's your name?
This is Jack.
Hey, Jack. Nice to meet you.
Say good morning.
Good morning.
But with that, would you see and hear those things when people post on social media or tell you or show you pictures and things of younger kids that never got to see you live? How does that make you feel? Because you're leaving this great legacy.
Yeah, it truly is a great feeling. Although I don't know if being a turkey is something that I aspire to. But I appreciate that. Quick story. I'd taken my grandson, who was, I guess, 6 or 7 at the time, to a SmackDown show in Knoxville. We get to go backstage and everything. And then we're driving home, and I asked him, like, buddy, who's your favorite wrestler? And he said John Cena. Well, of course he's going to say John Cena, right? And I'm like, well, who's your second favorite? Rey Mysterio. Who's your third favorite? Like Cody Rhodes. And I'm like, dude, where is Kane on this list? And he's like, you're number 17. I'm number 17.
Wow.
Like, well, I'm glad I made the top 20, but I'm the person that's taking to this show, right? You might want to think about moving him up in your rankings if you want to keep on going to wrestling shows. But
wow,
it is an awesome feeling. And I, for many years, I never realized the true blessing of what I got to do in WWE. I'm an introvert, so by nature, and I know I keep on picking these careers, which throw me out in the public eye, but nevertheless, I just not really comfortable with that, just because of who I am and everything. When I first started hitting it big, my wife and I just flown in, and that day, so I'm tired and grouchy, just getting off the road. My wife and I are having lunch in Knoxville, and people keep on coming up to me asking for autographs and stuff. And I was nice, I was always cordial with folks. So I'm kind of grumbling. I'm like, man, I wish we could just have lunch. And she said, well, honey, what you have to understand is because you're on TV, for a lot of folks, meeting you is just one of the most exciting things that'll happen in their life. And that really framed, she's a lot smarter than I am, by the way, but that framed things differently for me. And I realized that, it was about, you can always be nice and smile and shake someone's hand and provide that experience. Jack, I see you have a little me in your hand there.
And it's not a turkey this time.
but it is really cool. And one of the neat things about WWE now is because of all the different platforms, whether it's YouTube, whether it's the app and the archives, all those things. I get recognized more now than I think I ever did.
Wow.
And that is also a testament, though, to that Attitude Era, and just that being, the hottest thing in entertainment for a few years.
So, Mayor Jacobs, I do want to ask you a personal question. What is in the future for Mayor Jacobs here within the next year or so? Are you thinking about running for governor? What is next for Glenn Jacobs?
I don't know. I'm not going to run for governor. Senator Marsha Blackburn is running for governor. I'm actually the treasurer.
You could beat her.
Well, no, I'm actually her treasurer, so we're on the same team, and she's done a great job in Washington and before that in the state Senate. So I'm happy to do that. As far as what my future holds, whether it's in politics or not, I don't know. Politics is it's just like everything else, and can relate it to sports. It's the right person at the right time in the right situation. So there are some things in politics that I would not like to do. I've enjoyed my job as mayor, but there's other stuff that I would not be good at because I would not like doing it. So it's just where my skill set lines up. And again, I don't even know if that's in politics at this point. At this point, I guess you could say everything's on the table. I'll be out of office in September of this year. I am term limited, but just looking to wrap up some projects that we have going on here. I'm going to give a plug to Operation Heroes Hill, which is something that we launched a while back. It's going to create a community of 20 tiny homes for homeless veterans. And these homes are being built by high school students. Folks would like to learn more about that, please visit operationheroeshill.com. It's really cool and something I'm really proud of. Have some stuff like that to wrap up, and then I guess it gets figured out what the next chapter of my life is.
Any ideas, any fun stuff? I hope that you travel and get to go to those places that you missed that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
But any inkling what you might want to do?
We'll see. I would like to spend some quality time with my family.
Yeah.
When I was obviously in WWE, that was just difficult because I was on the road 250 days a year. It's been a little easier as mayor because at least I am home most nights, despite the fact that I still stay pretty busy, but at least I get to see people now. But I'd like to be able to do some more stuff with my wife and especially now my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Jacobs, we really appreciate you taking 30 to 40 minutes of your time this morning to join us to talk about your career in the WWE and the Royal Rumble. Go and stay warm and enjoy watching the Royal Rumble like we all will do this weekend on the road to WrestleMania. Go and enjoy all of the volunteer basketball and baseball that is coming up, and we will definitely catch up with you later on, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate having me on.
Thanks for being a friend of the show. It's always a pleasure, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Bye, Jack.
He's off playing, brother. He took you, and he had the Rock. I'm sure. I don't know who's winning, but I'm sure there's a battle going on.
Yeah,
it'll be Kane.
Thank you, Mayor Jacobs. Thank you, man.
All right, take care. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Heath, he is always such a blast to bring on. We really do want to thank Mayor Jacobs for taking time out of his day, being the mayor of Knox County, to join us to talk a little WWE wrestling when he has another profession that he has to do right now.
Yeah, and for me personally as a dad, there's snow on the ground. We got cabin fever. We've been stuck in this house since Friday. And so for to have that moment with my son and Kane get to call him by name, if it wasn't a snow day, that wouldn't happen. I always do the show with the kids. I come back from taking the kids to school, and I sit down and me and you do the show, Stephen, and then I start my day. So yeah, I don't ever get to do the show with any of my children. And matter of fact, I think Jack, he's my youngest. I don't think any of the other kids have been on the show.
Right.
So yeah, Jack got in and got to say hi and go from there. So that'll be a memory. I'm sure he'll tell all of his friends at school, and they'll all say, "You're lying. That didn't happen."
Well, I'll send you the video.
At least we got video. Yeah,
I'll send you the video just so he can prove it.
There you go.
All right, Heath, to wrap up the show, I did want to bring this up because this was a major, major thing that happened in history on this day in 1984. And unfortunately, this probably and more than likely led to a very, very sad future for this guy, and it ended very, very sadly. Can you tell me what happened on this day in 1984 that had to do with a pop singer?
84 that had to do with a pop singer? I mean, we're not talking about Michael Jackson getting his hair caught on fire doing the Pepsi commercial, are we?
We are.
Oh, are we really? This is why you don't play Trivial Pursuit with me. Don't ask me how my brain works. I don't understand it either. Before kids, I remember everything. After kids, I don't remember Jack Diddley Poo squat.
Heath, that incident probably scarred him for the remainder of his life.
It's funny, Stephen. I heard on another podcast, Steve Robertson, who's we've had him on the show many times. He does the Boneyard podcast, and Steve's a big music guy, loves music, and I want to say it was on his podcast. There was a documentary on Netflix called like One Night in Pop or something, but it was the song "We Are the World," and it had like 40, 50 major, big time, on top of the world musicians. And they all came together, put their egos to the side and did a song one night. And that song is still raising money to this day because all the royalties and everything from the song get paid out.
Right.
But I think it's raised like over $80 million. But anyway, I've told you that whole long story because I was sitting there looking at Michael Jackson, and Michael helped write the song. And you could see the side of his head. And I told my wife, I said, I bet you this is after when he got burned. I didn't know when that happened. I remember when it happened as a kid, but I was talking about that last night. I didn't look it up or anything, but That was fresh on my mind from watching that documentary yesterday. I thought you might be talking about a death rather than, but you said tragic accident. Usually you said a death. This
Right.
star passed away or died on this day. So that was the key word of why I leaned toward Michael Jackson on my first answer. But wow, man. Yeah. Shooting a Pepsi commercial, and the pyrotechnics got his jerry curl on fire and like burned his head. Like his head was on fire.
Yep. And he sued Pepsi and won $1.5 million in a settlement, and then turned around and donated that money to the Brotman Medical Center in Culver City, California, which actually took care of him after the burning of the scars and everything. And then they named it the Michael Jackson Burn Center after him.
Get out. I never knew all that.
Yep. So he suffered second-degree burns on his scalp and face. In the settlement, he donated the money to the medical center there in Culver City, California, in which they turned around and named their burn center after Michael Jackson.
What year was that?
1984.
Let's see. How much money was 1.1 million in 1984?
1.5.
Oh, 1.5 let's ask that question again. How much was 1.5 million in 1984? Let's see, with inflation and everything. Let's see what it comes out to. Oh, I gotta unlock my phone.
Oh,
That comes out to $3.11 million in today's money.
wow.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, and Heath, we are not going to leave on a negative note. We've got two things left I want to talk about, and then we will move out of here. Can you tell me who was drafted in 1970 in the NFL draft? And not only is he a quarterback, but he was also an actor.
The actor should give it away. 70. Well, you said 70. For some reason, Jim Plunkett went in my mind, but I don't think he acted in anything. What school did he go to?
La Tech.
It's got to be Terry Bradshaw. Yeah,
Draft
it has to be Terry
pick.
Bradshaw.
Louisiana Tech quarterback Terry Bradshaw is picked number 1 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And finally, 1976. What major spin-off show premiered on ABC TV on this day in 76?
Oh, geez, man. I'm a year old. On ABC in 1976.
And it was a spin-off.
Oh, did it have anything to do with Three's Company?
No.
I'm trying to think of ABC shows. I think Three's Company was an ABC show, and they had like Three as a Crowd, but that was probably in the 80s. They also had the Ropers. There was 2 spinoffs of Three's Company. Was it a hospital show?
Don't think so.
I'll probably know it when you tell me, but yeah, go on, tell me.
It was a spinoff of Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley.
Wow, there were 2 spinoffs on that because there was Johnny Loves Chachi.
Yep.
And then there was Laverne and Shirley. I should know that. I did not know Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff from Happy Days.
Yep.
I've learned something today.
All right, and Heath, let's get out of here on some fun talk. I really wish I could play this song, but I will get a copyright strike on my YouTube channel and on Facebook if I do so. What single was released on this day in 2004 that featured Little John and Ludacris? And it was a rap song.
I don't know, From the Window to the Walls?
Yeah! Yeah! By Usher.
Oh man, I
Usher released Yeah on this day in 2004.
the one thing I remember about Usher, he was the very first concert in the FedEx Forum here in Memphis.
Yeah.
I remember everybody was making a big deal, like, "Oh, who's going to be the first one? Who's going to be the first one?" Because the Pyramid is where we went for all of our big concerts here in the Memphis area. Steven, here's your fun question of the day. You're a fan of this band. You'd like to see this band perform at halftime of the Super Bowl. Who was the last concert at the Pyramid, which is now the Bass Pro Shop?
The Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Bob Seger, the Silver
Oh,
Bullet
yeah.
Band.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go. You always shocked me when you said Bob Seger.
Yeah.
I never thought you'd be a Bob Seger fan, but I think that's cool because he put out some great music. He really, really did.
Yeah.
That's some good music.
Heath, that is going to wrap up the Royal Rumble preview show right here on the Stingray Show. We have gone an hour and a half, but it has been amazing content. We hope that you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it with Mayor Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. Kane, talking about the Royal Rumble and his wrestling career. When we return tomorrow on the Stingray Show, we are going to be interviewing a former Alabama football player who played in 98 through 2001, and he was a beast on the defensive line. We will be joined by Kendall Moorhead from the University of Alabama, and we will see you on the Wednesday edition of the Stingray Show with former Alabama defensive lineman Kendall Moorhead. We will see you then. And Heath, any final words before we get out of here?
Sayonara. See you tomorrow.
For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender. It's a new year, and now is the best time to review your insurance policies. With a helpful customer service team here to serve you in Alabama and over in Mississippi. For all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs, call the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha Insurance to create a customized plan to protect your family's home and autos. You can stop by his office at 3428 McFarland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or simply call 205-462-8192, or call the number on your screen right there. And remember, with Alpha Insurance, the more you protect it, the more you save. Reach out to the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha today for all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do your brisket blend. We'll do your chuck blend. We'll do your sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. That's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show.